Hey guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me today. I'm super pumped about this video. I'm so excited to share with you guys. This is Dysautonomia Awareness Month. So first and foremost, I just want to give a big shout out to every dysautonomia warrior out there. You guys are just so amazing, and you all should be proud of everything that you accomplish each and every day. And I hope that we can together raise awareness and that we can kind of get rid of dysautonomia. My form of dysautonomia is called Hyperadrenegic Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome, also known as POTS. However, for this video, I'm just going to be focusing on POTS in general, so Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia syndrome. I'm going to be just sharing 10 myths and busting them. So the first one is POTS is extremely rare. First of all, POTS was never actually rare. It was just rarely diagnosed because of the lack of knowledge in the medical community. A lot more medical professionals are recognizing it, and I think that is a wonderful thing. Everybody outgrows POTS. This was one thing that I was told. I was a little bit annoyed because I already knew that I wasn't going to outgrow this disease, this disorder. Now, I do want to say there are some people who can outgrow it. However, there's a lot more involved in my particular case, and I felt like the individuals were giving my family false hope because they had phrased it that it's 100% certain that by the time I am 30, I'm not going to have any POTS symptoms. I'm already 26 and they ain't going anywhere. Everybody passes out regularly. I feel like this is a little bit more of a tricky one. So passing out is 150% a symptom of POTS, don't get me wrong. But not everybody passes out like it's their job. So not everybody's doing it super regularly. Some people pass out like daily, some people multiple times a day. Other people pass out like once in a blue moon. I go through like phases. Sometimes I'm passing out a lot, other times it's just collapsing. Other times it's what's called pre-syncope, which means pre-passing out. So I don't actually fully go out. So I'm not sure why people think. I think maybe because it's like our most dangerous symptom and it kind of like sets us apart from other diseases. I feel like maybe that's why people think that every single person with POTS passes out all of the time. But everybody is different. POTS is a spectrum. Some people are super mild, some people are super complicated and rare and complex with it. POTS is an anxiety disorder. POTS is a form of dysautonomia. I'll have hopefully some extra dysautonomia information in the description box, so please make sure to check that out. This is really a dangerous thing, y'all. Anxiety is a real thing, and it is a monster. It's a beast. It's hard to deal with and cope with. So, you know, first of all, if you deal with anxiety, big shout out to you. You are an amazing warrior. So, moving on though. When we blame everything on anxiety, that does also get really dangerous, guys. I've been in really bad situations, and I know so many warriors have been, where they've been told that, oh, something is just anxiety, and it turns out to be something a lot bigger. And with POTS, it's dangerous, and I feel like it kind of plays a mind game with the patient, because it's like you have all these symptoms and you're like, all right, this doesn't feel like typical anxiety, but my doctor's saying it's typical anxiety, so like, what's wrong with me? I must just be like losing it or something. So that's also like another factor of it. A lot of times when a young woman especially goes to a doctor, an ER, an urgent care, a lot of times physicians will just go, if they don't know what's wrong, or sometimes they just do it because you're female, because they're having a bad day, because I have no idea why, but there have been legitimate studies on this. So sometimes you'll run into people and it's like, it's anxiety, it's your period, your boyfriend, even if you don't have one. Imaginary boyfriends apparently cause anxiety. I've had a lot of that. Yeah, so like, but that's not actually addressing or treating the issue is my point. And POTS sometimes is thought of to be an anxiety disorder strictly because of the heart rate or chest pains. And those are legitimate, those symptoms. You're not, like, if you're a POTS patient, you're not having a fast heart rate because you're anxious. You're having a fast heart rate because your body's having trouble regulating stuff. And there is a huge difference in treatment. And if you're taking anxiety pills, no offense for POTS, it's not going to help. But I do also want to point out that anxiety can coincide with POTS. It can go hand in hand. It can be a comorbidity. So it is something definitely to watch out for. With any chronic illness, you really need to watch out for your mental health. These next two go hand in hand. POTS is caused by deconditioning. This is 1,000% wrong. I feel like if this were the case, that nobody would really, I feel like the number of people who had POTS would be a lot smaller. Most of the individuals that I've come across with POTS, they were extraordinarily active up until the time of their diagnosis. A lot of these people were athletes and, big hikers, always on the move, always on the go. So POTS is definitely not caused by being deconditioned. I would argue that you can definitely become deconditioned after your POTS diagnosis if you're not really careful, because your symptoms are alleviated sometimes by laying down, and it's tempting to just go do that every time you have symptoms, but that's not healthy and that's life-threatening. So it is definitely a tricky thing to be dealing with, but it's not caused by deconditioning. It is nothing you did or didn't do. It's also nothing your parents did or didn't do. The next one is exercise cures POTS, but so does yoga and standing in front of the mirror and counting backwards and eating all the kale and what else? Have to think, right? All those crazy answers that we all get all of the time. Exercise, guys, doesn't cure POTS. It can be used, though, to manage your symptoms in some cases. There are cases, though, like mine, where exercise is no longer really an option. Which leads me sorta, into the next one. POTS is only a heart rate and blood pressure issue. There's been a lot of heart rate, blood pressure misconceptions in YouTube land recently. I've seen them a couple of times, and I've tried to explain some stuff to people and it hasn't been received very well. The issue is some people, and I'm not sure where this comes from, obviously somewhere in the medical community, I mean, I don't know where, somebody's doctor told them this, but they think that you need to have both low blood pressure and low heart rate, or high blood pressure and high heart rate. In fact, you can have low blood pressure with high heart rate. It is possible. People have argued with me, but my vitals say otherwise. And then the other aspect, which is kind of where I was originally going with that, POTS is a systemic disorder, meaning it impacts every system in the human body. It doesn't just impact one or two things. It's the entire autonomic nervous system that is essentially off. So think of all your involuntary functions. That's all what POTS can potentially affect, which is from heart rate to hunger to breathing to, I mean, there's so many things that we do that we don't think about, different reflexes. I mean, if you just Google it, there's a whole big list. Last but not least, there's only one type of POTS, which of course is a myth. There are about, I think, 4 or 5 that have names at the moment. However, I venture to say that there are more type of POTS that we are just unaware of. Of course, a lot more research needs to be done. POTS has only been acknowledged as a disease since 1994, so we have still a long ways to go. We've come a long way since even my diagnosis, I feel, and I'm really proud of the community and how far that we've come, but we have so far to go. So let me not get too off topic on that, and let me just share with you the types of POTS that we have at the moment. I do feel like, though, for teenagers, that they don't really fit in most of these categories. I feel like they're kind of their own separate thing. So some people who develop POTS, say, like around 13, and then like they outgrow it by 16 to 18, I feel like that's a completely separate type of POTS, but that's just my personal opinion. Let me know, though, what you think. So the type of POTS, I will pop them up on the screen for y'all. So they're neuropathic POTS, and I'm probably saying that wrong, which in this type of POTS, there's damage to the small fiber nerves. Then we have hyperdrenegic POTS, which is my type, and this has to do with high levels of non-epinephrine, which is one of the stress hormones. Number 3 is hypovolemic POTS, and this has to do with the blood flow and low blood volume and low blood levels, and having issues with like the circulation and pumping the blood and getting it where it needs to go. The last type of POTS that John Hopkins had listed is secondary POTS, which means that it's a comorbidity to another disease, such as lupus, Ehlers-Danlos. So my question is, though, has always been, can you have multiple types of POTS? Because I've just always wondered if that's possible and if I maybe have more than one type. Okay guys, so I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something. Please, please, please share it. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. This all helps me to get this video more out there and to get more traffic and to hopefully raise more awareness, because I feel like a lot more awareness for dysautonomia needs to be raised, especially for POTS. So I am hoping though to do like another POTS awareness video, like a more in-depth look at POTS, like from a patient's perspective, and go over like symptoms, treatments, and all that good stuff. So keep an eye out for that video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon.